got to be on top of the world, man. This has got to be a great time. Your sitcom is doing well. Everyone's excited, and you just got a great preview on CBS last night.
Yeah, I actually caught the end of it. I was coming in from work and just caught the end of it. And it was just weird to see it on a CBS logo. You know, that was. But I tell you, TBS has been just wonderful about this show as far as allowing me to do the show that I've wanted to do, and that's just a clean family sitcom, which I don't know if television really knows how to take this.
You know, they used to be the staple of the network television.
Thank you.
And
yes,
they've gone away. TBS has embraced it with your show, House of Pain, and it's really seemed to take off.
Well, you know, I think it's listen, I'm just speculating here, but I think the American public is ready for the pendulum to kind of start swinging back a little bit, you know, as far as television goes. I mean, listen, I like, you know, excitement and edgy too, but it's like every week in and out. I thought, why not have a show that there's a niche for out there for this audience who wants to sit with their whole family and watch it? I mean, you know, a lot of people like Sex in the City, but, you know, I wouldn't necessarily let my kids watch it.
Mm-hmm. Now, was your show at all affected during the writer's strike, or you guys were luckily enough taking a break already?
We were on our break already. It pushed us back though a couple weeks. In other words, as far as the writers being able to get in the room and start breaking stories. But no, it hadn't affected us yet, and I'm hoping that this town is smart enough to realize that they don't need another strike.
Oh, I hope so too. Now, what's any special storylines or anything big coming up for this season?
You know, Avi, what we're going to do this year, and this was a charge I put to the writers, was that I see, you know, we don't need that gigantic issue. You know, the American family, some of the funniest stuff comes from just dealing with everyday issues. Like in the first episode, one of the things we talk about is cell phone coverage. You know, it just amazes me that we can put a rover on Mars, but we can't get a cell phone coverage all over the planet. And so we deal with stuff like that. We deal with drinking parties, learning to drive, boyfriends that you don't feel are appropriate, or girlfriend, you know, have. It's like what I want is that just that show that that mom, dad, the kids, grandma, everybody can sit down and watch, and you'll be like, oh, that's you, yeah, you know, or we just went through that.
Now you get to work with Nancy Travis and Tim Meadows. First of all, how cool is it that Nancy Travis is your wife?
Listen, it's very cool. I told her the other day she should thank God I'm married, because I'd be bugging her every night to please go out with me. And Tim Meadows is just one of the funniest cats on the planet. I love anytime I see a scene in a new script with him, I start smiling because I know it's going to be fun, and we just have a great time together. You know, I tell you, Avi, one of the things that's really nice about this show, Nancy and I were talking, is I said I don't know how long it's going to run. Hopefully, it runs a long time, but when it's over, it's going to be a hard one to walk away from because we've all gotten so close.
Well, you've both done some great shows that, unfortunately, for some reason or another, didn't catch on. I have to say, I was very surprised Blue Collar TV didn't catch on. I thought it was going to be like a Carol Burnett-like show that would last for at least a decade.
I think it would have. I just think it was on the wrong network. I think they just didn't know what to do with it, because we were. I mean, they had Reba, and we were their second highest rated comedy. Yeah. But it was fun. It was a blast to do. You know. Completely different than this show in the sense that, you know, in that show you played several different characters in a show, and this one I just played one. But yeah, Blue Collar TV was a blast. I'm glad to hear you say that, because we just had it was just all day laughing there.
Now do you have a preference or a style like the traditional sitcom or a sketch show like Blue Collar TV?
I really do like what I'm doing now, the traditional sitcom, because in sketch TV it's kind of. I'm one of those guys who I like to deal with stuff. You know, I like to show a complete circle. You know, we start with the problem, then we work our way through it, and then we solve it at the end. Sketch TV, you're kind of in and out. You know, if you're just going for the big laughs, I'd go for sketch TV. But I want, especially on my show, I wanted to show the American people that this is a family that's pretty much just like yours. You know, that we're going to deal with stuff like you do.
Now, you starred with your friend Jeff Foxworthy in his show back in the '90s. Were there lessons from that sitcom that you remembered and kind of had in the back in your mind when you were doing this one?
Definitely. You have to. The lesson I took from Jeff's was that you got to be in control. You got to have your hand in everything, because it's your show. Your name's on it, you know. And the other thing is I learned from him is that it's have a great time. I mean, this is one of the most wonderful things in the world. And the only problem that Jeff's show had was that they were trying to put a square peg in a round hole. I mean, Jeff is Mr. South, and they were trying to put him in Indianapolis, and it just, you know, it didn't work. And I really don't think the writers knew how to write for Jeff. Jeff is hysterically funny, and Jeff is one of the nicest guys on the planet. And they somehow were so focused in on, you know, that's one thing I love about what my writers are doing is they're not just focusing in on like my here's your sign bit or my, you know what they do is they take ideas from the show, my stand-up, and then turn those into stories. But, you know, like I told them right up front, I go, you're never going to hear a here's your sign joke on my show. But, you know, but Jeff's show, I remember watching.
I think that's good. I think that's good because to me they're two different things. Your stand-up bits, which have been hysterically funny, but they probably wouldn't work, especially working with like your wife and or Nancy Travis playing your wife.
Yeah, no, yeah, that would never work. But you know, it's working out really well. We had a great year last year. And this year, my thing to the writers was I said, let's make it funnier. And I think that's the big difference this year. I think we're even funnier than we were last year. And we're focusing more on the family this year as opposed to the workplace so much.
Mm-hmm. Now, because you're on TBS, you're kind of able to get away with a bit more than you would if you were on broadcast. But because this is a family sitcom, I mean, are you still kind of keeping it as if like you were on broadcast TV?
Totally. Actually, you know what? We're cleaner than broadcast TV. I watched a sitcom the other day. I could not believe the language I was hearing. And that's Avi. That's good or bad. That's what I expect out of this show. I don't want to ever hear this. If I'm on the road, I don't want somebody to come up to me and go, "Hey, I love your show, but I can't let my kids watch it." Then I've just lost any credibility. Listen. I love a dirty joke as much as the next guy, but I don't necessarily want to see my 9-year-old son on TV saying words that if he did in real life, he would be grounded for his life.
Makes sense to me.
Oh, hey, I'm coming up to your neck of the woods, by the way. I'm coming up to the race in Detroit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to be there Sunday. Be the Grand Marshal, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Awesome. We going to hear another comedy album anytime down the road?
Yeah, you know, I'm actually working on one right now. I think I'm going to call it 2550. It's because I've been married for 25 years and I'm 50 years old, so it's just going to be a black album.
That's good.
I think it'd be great. Wouldn't it just a black album with gold letters say 2550? But yeah, I'm actually in the process of because I've entered that second half of my life now and kind of experiencing things a little differently now than I knew before I turned 50.
Well, I got to go here soon, but before I go, you've had a lot of stuff on your resume, TV and audio-wise. Has there been a show or an album that you really loved? The audience didn't necessarily, though, go for it as much. You know, it's very close to you, though.
Yeah. I think when I did A Cheap Drunk was one album that I've done that I thought, oh, this is going to be good, and they just didn't bite on it. But you know, you never know. That's the beauty of comedy and doing. As far as TV and stuff, no, I've been very lucky, very blessed. I've been a part of shows that went on. The only show that I ever did I thought was great, and I could not believe they didn't pick it up. But then again, it was the same network as Blue Collar TV. Was the Mobile Home Disaster Show. That was a great show to do.
I always enjoy it every time you're on the Bob and Tom Show.
Oh, thanks. Those guys were somehow hooked into me early, and they're just the greatest guys in the world.
They are. I love listening to the show, and every time you're on, I always get a good laugh. So keep showing up, man.
Thank you.
I always enjoy it. Well, Bill, this was a great interview.
Thank you, Avi.
And again, keep coming on the Bob and Tom Show. So
I won't ever. In fact, if you ever when you talk to him, tell him I said hello.
I will, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.